Hi, everybody. How you doing? Welcome back to the afternoon session here. Stock Markets with Bruce. Your Uncle Bruce is back for more fun. I can't get enough of the good stuff, and I want to know how we're doing here. I noticed just a few moments ago that GameStop just popped a little bit. I noticed it popped a little bit from that 48 range to the 51 range, 50.78 right now in GameStop. Volume showing 23.1 million shares, down from what we're used to seeing, but the shares are improving a little bit. I've been trying to find out the short position that should be revealed today, the report. I can't find it yet. I haven't seen it, so I'm looking for it. Hopefully we'll find it sooner rather than later. Waiting quite anxiously for that to see what that's all about. Notice that the shares low to the low price today, 46.53. That was around 11 o'clock, just as I was going off the air. I think it was just before I went off the air this morning, and they popped a little bit after I went off the air. They did reach about $50.27 or something, but now they're trading at the high of the day since the bottom this morning, not the high for the whole day, but they have technically improved a little bit here. But I'm not sure where we're headed. 50.82 down 9.18 on the day, still a drop, but we have an hour to go now, and we're going to see just where the shares want to take us. The Dow and the other markets are up now. The Dow is up 40 points, S&P up 1.6, Nasdaq up 45. So the markets have improved overall, with a better improvement. Nothing incredible, but they were in negative territory earlier today, and we're definitely seeing a positive move on the big indices right now. But the question, of course, is the shares that we're following here somewhat. Just where are they going to go, and what's their game plan? I'm thinking that on a technical level, since GameStop broke through 50 relatively easily here a few minutes ago, there really isn't any stock for sale that's going to theoretically stop this market from going higher. But the question is there much of a buy wave coming into the bell here? We still have obviously 50-something minutes left, 57 minutes, a long time to go here before we know what's going on. I am happy to report that between my shows, I did an interview between the first show and this show that will come out in a little bit, and there are media people out there interested in the whole GameStop story, not just the story that everyone was talking about, where the shares took off and came back. There are people out there interested in the big story, the big picture of GameStop, and I'm kind of encouraged by that. And I had a very interesting interview. Once I know more about timing and how and where it's going to come out, I'll let you know. But people out there want to talk to Uncle Bruce. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that. Like that the people are going to talk to want to talk to Uncle Bruce about GameStop. That's kind of cool. I like that. I have a lot to say about GameStop. There's a lot to talk about with GameStop, and I'm happy to see what we can do. Let's see what happens. $50.16, and we'll keep an eye on it. And now over at Gore Holdings, they are doing really well. $15.96 now, up $2.48. This is the deal I talked about yesterday morning, that Gore's Holdings number 6 is going to merge with Matterport, and that deal that stock was in the 12-13 range, now up $2.49 a share to $15.96. So that one is at the moment not giving up any ground. Whereas Virgin Group acquisition, that one I was hoping would come back into this 14 range, and it has just kind of. It was in the low 1400. Well, 1446 was the low of the day. It's now 1484. This is definitely buy territory for those of you who want to be part of the 23andMe merged SPAC deal. So you get into this, you get into Virgin Group now. You're going to be a shareholder of 23andMe in the next 2-3 months. You pick up Gore's Holdings here. It's $15.95 now, a little richer than I'd like it to be so soon. It did though hit $17.57 for a bit today, so it had a bit of a run here. maybe a little too quick, too fast. We'll have to see how this comes out. But the street likes that deal right now. That announcement was made yesterday. Maybe in a couple of days it'll back up a bit as things calm down, and maybe you can get, if you're thinking of getting this one, you can kind of find your way in a little bit. AMC 552 a share, down 66 cents today. Bed Bath & Beyond up 88 cents. Was flat line for the first 3 hours of the day, 2 hours, 3 hours. Now has moved up 88 cents to 27.15, so that's an improvement. BlackBerry down 50 cents almost all day, been down 30, 40, 50 cents at 13.26. Electronic games, I talked about those guys this morning. They're up 386 to 146.32. EA has picked up a company by the name of, what's that called? Glue Mobile, GLU Mobile, and it's an all-cash offer. They bought this company for a $2 billion deal, and they're apparently going to add about 1.5 million gamers, into their overall universe by bringing this company into their company. But this shows you the size of the gaming business. This is just one company buying another inside the gaming business, but this is definitely online gaming. As far as Best Buy goes, they're going to be becoming an online retailer of gaming systems, games, and they'll probably also get into electronic game sales, digital game sales. Don't be surprised if that happens as well. I would not be, at least in any way, not surprised at that. Royal Caribbean down $1.42 to 69.28. Norwegian down 82 cents to 24.19. Carnival down 49 cents to 21.12. The cruise lines are under pressure today. The Dow is up 37. Tesla down 16.97 today. So it's off a little bit from where it's been here the last couple of days or yesterday. It had a bit of an up day yesterday, but it's given it back. It was as high as maybe 873 or something like that yesterday. Now 846. So it's given up a little bit of ground today. We'll see what happens here with Tesla. We know that Tesla yesterday made a move into Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin market now, it is trading at 46,800. It's up $2,000 today, a 4.5% gain. It's amazing how $2,000 gain is only 4.5% now. That's how expensive Bitcoin has become. But I'm pretty sure that Tesla has scored a very good deal for themselves with their $1.5 billion purchase of Bitcoin. It's amazing that a public company would buy that much of a currency, of a coin currency, a digital, but it has, and they are going into this, they're going to this business of offering people the opportunity to buy cars, parts, extended warranties, and other items from the Tesla company, along with those solar panels that they install on roofs and battery systems. Tesla is moving into this direction, and kind of wonder others might follow. Tesla seems to lead the way from time to time as a sort of an innovator, and we'll see going forward how this plays out for the company overall. So there you go. There's some information there. Other news today that we've been following. As I was saying earlier, there's all kinds of analysts out there who are following the GameStop story, and they're trying to blame retail investors for all their problems, although they say they aren't, but they do. And then they, one hand, people are saying, well, we should protect retail investors, and then on the other side, they come up with stuff like maybe we should ban retail investors, or we should restrict retail investors from being able to trade as easily as they are, or we should make it illegal for them to talk to each other. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Some of the nonsense that's going on out there. You kind of wonder what the heck is happening here with these players out there. It's just ridiculous. Shane Kelly, how you doing? We like the stock. We love Uncle Bruce. Thank you very much. Appreciate those of you who are popping in and saying hi to me and visiting with me. Tony, hi Bruce. Would it be a good idea to sell my BlackBerry stock for profit now and put it into VGAC, which will be GLUU, or should I hold on to BlackBerry longer? Well, I don't know where BlackBerry is going. I'm not a BlackBerry expert. I noted that they were as high as $25 a little while ago on a big run up. Then they came back all the way down to what it was 11.20, and now they're back to 13.26. So, they've come back. They were way up, and they've come way down, and they're a little better than before. I will say though that if you get into the Virgin Group Acquisition Corp stock, you're buying into a more of a ground floor scenario than BlackBerry, which is a more of a mature scenario. So, making that shift, getting into that one, you're going to go into 23andMe, different kind of business, but it will become a publicly traded merged entity on the New York Stock Exchange with about 950 million cash on hand. So they're going to be very cash rich. And at $14.92 a share, and the other one is $13.24. You're in the neighborhood. It's not necessarily a one-for-one rollover, but if you're making that kind of a move, look at it as I would say like a 6 months to a 1 year window would be my initial guess on where that story is going to pan out between 6 months and the year from now. It might pan out the day after the merger is completed and everything is listed and away we go. But on the other hand, I think that once it's listed and merged together and listed, then there's a lot of momentum that will take us to another higher level down the road, because I think there's a lot of corporate news coming that will be, I think, positively received. KYKS Stock Markets with Bruce. What do you think about the fact that since Tesla now holds Bitcoin, that the S&P 500 has Bitcoin exposure? That's true. It does, doesn't it? That is interesting. You kind of wonder about that. Of course, it's not S&P's doing. It's not like it was their idea. But what you have here is a futurist in Elon Musk who has been pretty accurate in guessing where the world is headed, figuring out how to launch rockets into space and then have the first stage of a rocket land right back at the Kennedy Space Center within a half a mile of where it took off from. I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? Landing these on barges in the ocean as well. Pretty amazing stuff. This guy is a visionary, and he's got a pretty good track record of consistency, being on the right side of the market. So with Bitcoin now, the first of, I would say, the very first really big major company to make this kind of a move, certainly this kind of a dollar move. This is something. I'm curious to see how this all plays out. I don't know if how it'll go long term. We'll see. Nick, hi Bruce. VGAC today in Kathy Wood's YouTube update. They were lukewarm on 23andMe, just trying to lower the price. I go so they can get into a better price. Maybe not. I mean, we all have our opinion on it. I mean, some people love 23andMe and others are not so crazy about it. I understand, but I like the backing, and I like the strong hands, the strong dollar hands that are behind that company. There's some serious institutional money that is in there, and much more could arrive. Let's see here. Nicholas, thank you for this donation. Any thoughts on the CCIV SPAC merger with Lucid? Is that the Churchill thing? Is that the CCIC? Just double check me with that for me. Hang on. CCIV. That is the Churchill Capital, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know about this. This is a $10 SPAC, and now it's a $31 deal. And I'm not sure if you missed most of the boat on this thing. I've never followed it before. I wasn't into it. I didn't have a channel going live with commentary on it, so I'm not sure what to make of that. It could be interesting how that deal plays out. Supersonic Asian Uncle Bruce, I bought GameStop at $340 and I can average down to $130 at the current market price. I'll have to clear out other good stock to do so. Is it a good play with regards to GameStop's future? Well, there you go. Here's the question. It's a $50 stock now, and you have to sell something else to buy. And there's you've got diversification right now, and if you have other stock that's done well for you and you like it, you shouldn't make that move. You might want to just sit tight and just see where things play out, because GameStop, this might be the low. But again, after a couple more days of consolidation, we may find that the low is actually closer to 40 than 50, or 38 or 35 to 50, and you can make a better move even then. On the other hand, a month from now, we might be in this neighborhood, this 45, 55, 60 range, and you may find that additional capital comes your way that you can put into your market account, and it's at that time you average your GameStop down. I think GameStop for you can be, on the one hand, an average down scenario today, but on the other hand, you could use a longer term view on this and sit back and go, okay, it's going to take a few months for the company to completely roll over into the e-commerce platform that is where they're headed. So I've got some time to decide if these other shares I have perform, happily where I want them to go, and I then liquidate out at the profit I want to take. Maybe at that time you take a position here. You've got some choices, but I don't think there's a hurry to panic in right now with an average down this second. But again, it all depends on just how you feel about how the shares are solidifying here and how they're kind of coming together. Anyway. Let's see. Yes, well, William Jones, good comment here. Wow, so many fortune tellers telling us what this or that stock's future will be. No one knows for sure. Risk versus reward. Yeah, right. I sweated for my money, and I want to be able to choose where to invest. Absolutely. That's the thing about the market. You make up your own mind. Everybody has their own sense of their timing. What is an ideal time to be involved in an investment, whether it's a short-term hold or a longer-term hold. Whether you're accumulating ETFs for longer-term, growth and a larger portfolio, a longer-term portfolio horizon. Whether you're an Apple fan and you're just going to buy Apple no matter what. Whether you're looking for short-term trading situations, you're looking for day flips. There's no end to it. You have to really decide for yourself. Dave Clark, Uncle Bruce, feeling trapped by GameStop. I bought high, and now I'm buying low to bring my average down now, 120. I feel like I'm throwing money away. Any advice? If you're looking for a one-day flip, you're not going to get the reward. We're not going to 120 this afternoon. I'm pretty confident of that. I wish we would, but I'm pretty confident we're not. On the other hand, if you've got a 120 average, or you can get a 120 average, and you've got a 3 to 6 month window, you are going to give the company some time to get their transition together, and they'll come out with their year-end financials. They'll come out with their projections as what they think will happen going forward. You'll allow them to make a bunch of announcements about their plans and acquisitions of staff. They're going to come up with news, and you will give them that. And if you give them that kind of time, 3 to 6 month time frame, that might be the moment where between now and then there's some momentum on the upside again. But from where? From here? From 40? From 38? From 29? I don't know. Right now, it's taking a hit here and there. It's off 9.59 right now on the day, and we have to see what the stock is going to give us going forward. I think it's oversold. I think there's a huge short position still in existence. I think a short position that's out there is still too large. But then you've got people who are pessimists and/or who want to bet against this stock, and they're going to do so until they're forced to go long. And so you have to decide whether you want to be one of those that plays along or takes a pass for a while and hold what you have, not put more money into it, and maybe a month from now you'll revisit it and maybe look at it at that time. These are the questions the scenario you're into and the situation you're in. ZDB Shoes. Thanks for all the content, Uncle Bruce, the most wholesome guy on YouTube. Shout out from Dallas. Thanks, ZDB. Thank you very much for those kind words. We'll see how we all work out here. I'm excited with what we're doing. And Supersonic Alan, thank you, Bruce. I'm going to hold. Alex, Allweed, I think you could go into something here. Allweed, I think you could go into something here. Someone's commenting on another person's comment. Big short investor Michael Burry says Tesla's $1.5 billion bet on Bitcoin was a distraction, and Dogecoin's record price signals a massive bubble. Again, I just don't have long-term faith in these coin things. It's just not my shtick. Anyway, Nick, I like Ryan Cohen, who had 12.9% of GameStop shares in September 17, and he had about $2 billion worth of shares at 320 if he held. I also like DFV, not financial advice. I just like the stock. Anyway, Ryan Cohen put $76 million of his own money into GameStop when it hadn't been over $10 a share in a long time. He was buying at the 5 range, 550, 650, waited for it to come back down. He bought some more. He bought up free trading, loosey-goosey paper he could find, and he ended up stopping his buys when he reached 9 million shares at 16.80 or 16 something a share. It's the last time he bought stock for $76 million. He's got 13%. He's now on the board, and he has 2 Chewy board members with him, and now they're stealing people from Amazon and from Chewy and other companies. And that says to me there's a future here going the digital side for sure. That's where this company's headed. And I like the game plan. Even if they make $1 a share down the road, maybe a year from now, they're earning $1 a share. I can see the shares trading at 150 to 250 times earnings, because the game plan would be they're making $1 a share now. Next year, they could be making $2.50 a share as they continue their evolution over to the other side. And if they're going to go from $1 share to $2.50 share, people will pay 150 times earnings they'll pay $150 for GameStop a year from now. But they might pay more, because if they're figuring it's going to be a $2.50 price, a $2.50 a share earnings potential, then a 150 times earnings multiple on a $2.50 stock, $375 a share. Not too many folks down on that price. There are only a few buyers up there. Remember, folks, don't get hoodwinked by these analysts who are saying, oh, the stock hit $430 a share. Millions of people got ripped off. No, there were a few thousand investors that got in and out way up there. Most of the trading took place under the 350, 380 range, 325 range. A lot of trading at the 350 and all the way down range. Not that makes it any easier for any of you who are upside down on this deal, but a lot of trading has taken place now in the last little while, last few days. All cash buying, and I think the shares are in strong hands. $50.12. Low of the day, $46.53. We'll see how we close out here in 37 minutes. Coming into the last bit of trading. All right, let's see. Anyway, Mike saying at 140, Bruce said GameStop was a good dip. At 80, he said it was a good dip. At 50, he said it's too soon. Not sure this is how to make money in the market. Again, I am just telling you, folks, that this could be the low. Certainly a lot closer to the low now than $140. But 140, it had a dip. I remember last week, Friday, it was 112, went back to 250 on a rebound. But here we are now at 50.03. If you're a long-term believer in the company and you like the corporate move, buy the stock. Average down. Get in there. Yeah, sure. If it goes to 45, what do you care? You don't care. Your long-term, your payoff is at a higher level. You might miss the all-time low correction trade here. So what? And if it does back off to $20 for whatever stupid reason that happens, then pick up some more and average down again. But right now at 49.63, right at this moment, it broke through the 50 barrier. This might be an area to get in at, but I'm not the guy that's going to stop this market from dropping or start it from taking up. Remember, only invest in what you can lose. Also, if you invest in GameStop, AMC, it's a gamble. I'm still holding because it's my money and I believe I like gambling. Charlie, there you go. Good call. Good call. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Let's see here. Cameron, Unky Bruce, how should a beginner investor start investing? What's the best place to start educating yourself, and what should you avoid when starting out? Well, the one thing you avoid is you avoid getting into a stock that has made a major run from $5 a share to $400 a share and get in there because you think it's going to 1,000, because you have missed the boat on this run all the way up. You do not buy on margin when you start trading shares for the first time. You do not. You just do cash buying only. if you're an investor with not a lot of money, but you've got a long-term game plan, I would suggest you just begin to pick up a few quality issues. Companies been around a while that have a long proven track record, and grow from there. Otherwise, if you are young and you want to make an investment in something that's kind of a newer startup scenario, then the strategy I like to watch over right now are the kind of stocks that are SPACs, making acquisitions of large corporations with a lot of cash going in. That to me is an IPO at a very good insider level to get in at. And so right now there's two I follow. That is the VG acquisition and the Gores Holdings. Those are the two that I'm watching right now. And I think that if you're willing to get in now and you're willing to wait up to a year for a payoff or less, then take a shot at these guys. I don't think it'll take that long, but you got to say to yourself, if this takes 9.5 months, I'm not going to be mad at this guy for talking to me about it. I'm going to get in there and we're going to see what happens. All right. Nicholas, thank you again. Hey, Bruce, me again. What are your thoughts on the buy now, pay later companies like Affirm and AFT? Buy now and pay later. What are they buying now and paying later on? AFRM. Let me take a look. Who's that? AFRM. AFRM. Does that show here? That would be Affirm Holdings, $133 a share. The company does what? Hang on a second here. Operates platform for digital and mobile first commerce. It offers integrated checkout, virtual card, split pay, Affirm app, and marketplace and savings account. The company was founded in 2019 June, headquartered in San Francisco. Is this one of those where you can buy something online and then you've got 3 or 4 payments to buy this stuff? Is that what that is? It's a niche, isn't it? It's a niche into the market. For the year, it's been as low as 90, as high as 144. So it's up at the higher end of its range. As far as short interest goes, 417 million short on the stock, they say. 417,000, sorry. It's a very no short position whatsoever, 0.5%. No short position to worry about. 121 million outstanding. It's a $29 billion company. And it does not have a PE ratio, so it does not yet make money. So here again is an online digital retail entity where GameStop is going to, in their own niche, trading at $133 a share with a float of 74 million, total outstanding 120 million shares. It's a $29 billion market cap. And I am trying to convince you guys to be patient with GameStop. Chewy, $40 billion market cap, doesn't make any money. GameStop, market cap, $3.5 billion, doesn't make any money, but they're the cheapest one on the street, even at $50 a share. So I'm not a fan of stocks that are way higher than GameStop in the same realm that they want to go into. They want to go into the retail, online retail, e-commerce area. They might already be there, this particular company. They're trading at a much higher value. There's more risk in that stock than GameStop, in my opinion, because GameStop, remember, they had $8 billion in sales a couple of years ago as their brick and mortars were running along. They're still doing $6 billion, $5 billion in the middle of a pandemic, and they're going to convert over to digital. As they offload their stores, they're going to lower their cost of being in business by $500 million a year. If they can maintain a $4 billion online presence and grow that out with a lower operating costs, they're going to have net profits. And making $2 a share for this company, $140 million a year in profit, shouldn't be a big deal for these guys once they convert over. And at 200 times earnings, $400 a share. Do I guarantee 200 times earnings? No, I can't. But I can tell you that Amazon is at 80. Amazon is 80 times earnings. $3,200 stock. This one should be more than 80 times earnings. As small as they are, and the ability to go from a $2 earning to a $4 earning to an $8 earning per share is a much easier trick than for Amazon to double and quadruple their earnings going forward every year. So yeah, this company will trade at a higher multiple, in my opinion, and away you go. Anyway, there you have it. let's see here. Yeah, Charlie, you're right. You only invest in what you can afford to lose. That's right. Tim, what are your thoughts on Aston Martin, Bruce? Chinese investors coming in and they get their own Formula One team this season. James Bond movie this year. I don't know. Car company like that with very unique, limited number of units. They can't produce 1 million of them. They sure can't do that. So I don't know. Charlie, thumbs up. Bruce, also remember they only invest what you can lose. I'm still getting that message all the time. Let's see here. Big Wolf, still taking my big risk on CBM. Remember, either 150 or 0 in the next 4 weeks. CEO holding 4 million shares plus options. BlackRock owns 6.2% of the company. You got to take a risk sometimes. Well, again, it's money you can afford to lose. More power to you. That is what makes this work. Let's go here. CYN Doyle, Sin Doyle, Uncle Bruce, with all of the love for the Virgin deal and the Gore deal over the days, these two SPACs, and you said you're hesitant about cannabis stock. What would be your thoughts on a cannabis SPAC, specifically one backed by Jay-Z? Boy, sometimes you got to go with the promoter. Snoop Dogg, promoter. Jay-Z could be a promoter. But gosh, I want to see the acquisition target, and I want to know just how big a deal this thing is. Because sometimes you've got the best promoter, but you just don't have the other side of the equation to really take it to another level. You got to be, deliciously funded with cash and possibilities to raise a lot more cash. But again, the market is the market. That if that kind of a SPAC exists or can exist, you never know. I'm not sure. Is there one out there? I don't even know. We shall see. What else are we doing here? Let's see. I'm just looking at comments coming through. A lot of people talking to each other here. And the short report, Bruce, the short report is out, someone is saying. I have yet to find it. I can't find the short report. I'd sure like to know what the short report is on GameStop or overall, but I have not yet seen it here. We're waiting. And I don't know. Hi, Bruce. Bowfinger. Hi, Bruce. Did you hear the Fintel report on shorts had an error on their system which happened to affect GameStop and AMC? What the hell is going on? Can this be any more fiddled? You got me. I do not know what to make of this. Again, I don't know where that is at. Let's go. A couple more comments as I'm trying to read them through here. Where are we at right now? 49.79 on GameStop is where we're at the moment. And the volume on the day now, 24.1 million shares, okay? Yeah, Nick, this is good advice, especially if you buy on margin. All the apps sell data to the hedge funds. So if you buy on margin, they know how much the price needs to go down for you to get out. That's interesting. You don't want to be buying on margin right now, not at these levels. Let's go here. Here's a comment. Maya Fern, can you talk about day trading, Bruce? I've also heard that penny stocks are risky, but can have high yields when done right. There's no done right. Of course, in theory, you buy at 20 cents a share, a bunch of stock, and it goes to 40 cents a share, you doubled your money as long as you can get out. But you buy at 35 cents a share and goes to 15 cents a share, you've lost a ton of your cash. And you might not even get out easily at that level because there might only be interest down to 11 cents and you're really getting taken out. You got to really watch yourself on these penny stocks. Over-the-counter stocks, I would avoid. If you're a new investor, I really would avoid this. Just not worth your while, not worth the risk, there's just no upside. I just don't think that's the way to go. Again, though, if you're a sports bettor, you like the action, and you want to throw $100 into the market, there are plenty of stocks you can follow. There's plenty of YouTubers you can follow that trade day stock trading. You can try to do what they're doing, but you're you might be here today, gone later today. Uncle Bruce, to the Tesla fund. I know we're talking about GameStop and the Virgin Galactic deal, the Virgin Group deal. I just wanted to hear your opinion on telemedicine stocks. Well, I don't know anything about telemedicine as far as fundamentals of exact companies. I don't even know the names of any of these guys. But I will admit that the world is going, in a very digital way. Zoom and Google, face-to-face, Apple, FaceTime calling. I mean, this has changed our world in the last 5, 7, 8, 10 years, where the idea of maybe having to go to a medical professional for, non-emergency, visitation might be a thing to get into. But again, I like the I like to be in front of a professional medical practitioner. But I'm old school, so guys, it's up to you. I like the idea of being in front of a medical professional for someone to take a look at me if I'm not feeling well or if I have an issue, because it might be related to something that I have no idea about. It might be something completely different than I think I'm suffering from, and on a telecall, you're just not getting the full picture. I do have issues with that again, but that's because of my advanced years. What can I say? That's all I can tell you there. Yeah. Let's take a look here. Fritz, stock markets with Bruce. Hi, Bruce. Are there people we can still hire to help invest for us, like a broker? Or are there no options for that anymore? Very, very, very few now compared to 30 years ago. A lot of brokers, 30 years ago, I was 35. And, a guy like me would have been in the business now 10 plus years and would have had grown a book of clients. But even 30 years ago, in 1990, 91, a lot of brokerage houses started disappearing as these day trading firms showed up. It's amazing how the SEC allows people to day trade stock without any experience, without any advisory services. When in my day, when I became a stockbroker, I had to go through the securities course. I had to be licensed. I had to go through the criminal background check and all that stuff to even be able to talk to you on the telephone. Going forward, here we are now in 2021, and people can open up an account in 20 minutes on one of these things and be up and running, a day or two later, buying, selling all they want, even options trades, when I wanted to be a stockbroker and then I wanted to offer you option writing or option trading opportunities, I had to get licensed for that. That was another securities course I had to take. I had to pass that, do the examination, and get my license. Now, people are buying and selling options without any regulation at all with the blessing of the SEC and all those bankers out there who have taken over this world. I remember when the banks took over the brokerage world, their game plan was, we're taking over these brokerage accounts because we have stability here. We have advisors and we have a long history of preserving our clients' money. Now we have all these online trading platforms that a lot of these banks have as subsidiary companies, and it's the Wild West. They allow the Wild West of trading to go on, and no one will stop it. It's amazing. There you go. What do we got here? We've got a lot of comments coming in on a lot of topics. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And again, I am quite curious to find out if we're going to get any word on the shorting of the short lists. Are we going to find out what the short positions are from the New York Stock Exchange? I'm quite waiting for that. We're now into it's 1:39. Are we getting close? Yeah, 21 minutes to go until the close, I guess. If I got my timing right, we're coming into the last half an hour or less. We'll see what's going on. But to find a broker, I should finish this question. You can try to open an account with the Charles Schwab and talk to a human being. There's the Edwards securities outfits, Raymond James. But the entry level in might be $50,000 or $20,000 or 15 grand just to get into a firm like that. And so, yeah, there's you know, the entry level has gone up, the price of admission. And for the broker, look, if the broker's going to spend an hour talking to you about making investments and you've got a $5,000 portfolio, how much commission can the broker make from you on your $5,000? You invested once and then you call them every week to find out how it's going. It's not going to work out. Hi, Bruce, please, can you explain the effect the amount of short or long positions has on a stock? Can you explain the effect the amount of short or long positions? Well, I mean, it varies. You know, a year ago, Gamestop had a large short position on it, but it didn't affect the stock. It just kept it down to around $5 a share. There was no short squeeze for months and months and months and months. Nothing was happening. Shorters were easily able to buy and sell stock down there. I'm sure people were shorting at $5.50 and buying it back at $5, taking 50 cents a share on 5,000 shares at a time, $2,500 flip, in and out, or out and in, out and in. But in the long run, when a company makes a corporate move, or when a scenario happens like we had with the Reddit and Wall Street bets phenomena take place, and millions of people hear about a stock that is over shorted, you can have a run. And that's what happened on GameStop. The company did nothing different from a month ago to today. They're still evolving into an e-commerce company, but their stock went nuts. And that's the thing you got to remember. There are two worlds with respect to a publicly traded company. The first world is the corporate world. The second world is the public market world. And public company shares trade on the expectation of future performance. That's what happens a lot of the time. But sometimes stocks trade because of technical glitches, like a massive over shorted position and investment entities that are short gazillions of shares and a stock that's running on them, and now they've got to cover. And here we go with the margin calls going on the way up, and then margin calls coming on the way down, and all kinds of volatility that can happen. We are sitting on GameStop right now at $48.95. The low today was $46.52. Gore's Holdings is 1607, up 259 today. Big day there. Virgin Group acquisition, 67-cent down tick today at 1483. AMC down 70 cents to 548. Bed Bath & Beyond up a buck a share, 27.30. And BlackBerry down 46 cents to 13.30. That's where we are right here. And that is the latest. The Dow and other indices, Dow's up 24, S&P up 1 point, NASDAQ up 45. So a very flat day on those markets as we're coming into the close of the day. And the last now, where are we at now? The last 27 minutes or 17 minutes, I guess. We're into the last 17 minutes of the day. Just pardon me, I have to plug in my big ass iPad. It's running out of juice. Robinhood lobbying plans says Wall Street Tax Act of 2019 imposed a 0.1% tax on certain financial transactions, include the purchase of stocks, bonds. Lobbying plans. I'm not sure what this means. Not sure what's going on here. I'm not sure what Robinhood has in mind. Are they trying to find a way to raise cash, or is this some kind of a deal? Again, it's on CNBC. You'll have to watch it, and I'll follow that news later, see what's going on. Alrighty. Hold on a second here. JSwap. Hey, buddy. Bruce, what do you see as the main differences between GameStop and Blockbuster Video? Well, Blockbuster made one fatal mistake. If you've ever seen the movie on the history of Netflix, which might be on Netflix, but it's probably on Prime. I think it was on Prime, Amazon Prime. The history of Netflix. When Netflix was worth about $20 million, maybe, they were still sending out CDs, and they were beginning to go digital. Blockbuster had a meeting with those guys, and they talked about the possibility of Blockbuster buying Netflix when Blockbuster was worth billions of dollars in market cap. Their stock was a big seller. They had locations all over the place. There was talk that Blockbuster might buy Netflix and take out the competition, which meant the DVD, mover from online. But they could just take it on, add it as a division, and then go the route of digital downloads. But they couldn't cut a deal, and that was Blockbuster's mega mistake. That they believed in the long-term viability of a brick and mortar entity, and they felt that by building their own website, that they would convert people into digital and wouldn't have to worry about Netflix. Wrong. Netflix outgrew Blockbuster and began to really get into the digital download business. And of course, the thing that Netflix never had was they didn't have thousands of stores around the world with Blockbuster logos on the outside and gazillions of employees. Where GameStop has figured out, we do know the future. We do know we have to shut our stores down. We're not sitting around. We're going to probably sell off a bunch of our foreign-run stores in Australia, New Zealand, and the UK, and Europe. We'll sell them off to other operators who can operate them there, and we will revert just to the warehouse format. We might reduce our store counts in North America way down. Maybe they'll do what Apple did, and that is they'll convert small GameStop stores into large GameStop centers, but only one per city. Instead of 15 locations in a big city, there might be only one or two, like Apple, and the rest is online only for global sales. And they'll go after that. Blockbuster never bought into that program. They never totally bought in. The company was sold by the original guy to another group, and then sold to another group. And by the time it got to the third holder, it was over. It was all over. There was no capital left in the company to revert back to a digital side. They were bleeding money from all their stores, and they were finished. Where GameStop has got cash, they're selling these game systems that are coming in coming in and sold immediately at full margin, but they're building up right now. Last report, 34% of their sales are digital, and that will continue to climb. So GameStop, I think, recognized soon enough what they had to do and how they had to do it. Okay. Did we ever see a squeeze on GameStop, or did we simply see a massive amount of hype in the media and massive investment by retail buyers? You saw it all. You saw all of it. You had media hype, unbelievable, massive investment by retail buyers, a run up in the stock, a squeeze by shorters who were being squeezed out. They were being forced to buy their shares back when they didn't want to, as they went up and up and up and up and up a share. They didn't want to buy that stock at 150, $200, but they were made to do it. Then there was a lot of hype above and beyond it, and the hype got to be to a point where people actually believed that the shares would go from 500 share to $2,000 a share, because it was an endless run on the stock, and that's just not the case. The shares went way too far, way too fast. Had they only gone to the $50, $70 range and now be back in the 40, 50 range, I'd be a real happy guy. I really would, because there would be very few people with any damage out there, and the shares would be consolidating here, and we can now talk about the future of the company going forward. But with this run up to the 400 range and now back here, people look at GameStop as a loser. They're going, oh, it was 400 a share, now it's 48 bucks a share. The company's a loser. Well, it was 20 bucks a share a month and a half ago. It's 48.90 right now. And a lot of people who held and are still holding, like the management of the company, they're still here. They haven't gone anywhere. The only folks who sold out their stock were the directors that were replaced by new directors 3 months ago. They were allowed to sell out their stock, and some of them sold at 18 and 28 and 30. And a couple got out at a really good price, and they won the lottery. They got lucky. But the rest of the insiders are still here. They're going to work every day, and they're building out this company because they're in for the long haul. So it had a little bit of everything. Give Bruce thumbs ups, people. Thank you, those of you who are doing that. We have 438 thumbs ups right now. We have 1,960 people watching me live with 10 minutes to go in the day. If you can throw a thumbs up for this show, I would really appreciate it. We could build this up to over 1,000 thumbs ups or more. That would be awesome sauce. Thank you, everybody. And those of you making donations to this channel, of course, super chats and PayPal donations, you guys, of course, as always, I thank you. We're now at 550 thumbs up, so we're popping them up right now. They're coming in. Thank you, everybody, for coming along and joining the party here with the Stock Markets with Bruce. I really appreciate it. 634 thumbs ups, another bump. Thank you. Keep them coming. Thank you very much, everybody. Alrighty, let's see. What's the likelihood of the $5 shorters still here? They're not here. They're long gone. Long gone. AMC has 91% shorted shares just announced. Rocket can start. See if that works or not. AMC is at $5.51 a share. Not much happening there. GameStop $49.44, down $10.56. Nothing much happening on GameStop. Still waiting for any word on the actual short interests. I don't see anything official yet. We'll see what's going on. DePaul, on Tuesday, BlackBerry announced that Motional, a vehicle maker backed by Hyundai, GDR, they announced something, whatever that something is. Let's see here. Comments. Joshua says, I recall that S3 said on the 29th of January, GameStop short interest is now 11 billion, 57 million shares shorted, 113% of the float, 53% SI of float includes synthetic longs created by short selling and circulation. Again, I can't, I can't even interpret that for you guys as to what that actually means. Highly suggest the Business Wars podcast series, Blockbuster versus Netflix. If you want to learn the details on where Blockbuster went wrong, very interesting. Yes, very good show. I really enjoyed that program. I thought it was really interesting. The behind-the-scenes early days of Netflix as it grew out and became a force. So a girl came into my bookstore and asked, what are the chances you have a book on curing eating disorders with religion? Slim to none. Thank you for that. Kevin Elliott, how did GameStop drop so much today on such low volume compared to the average volume? Well, I think that a lot of folks are on the sidelines waiting to see how low the shares will go. The shorters know that, and I think there was a short selling drive from about the $55 level all the way down to the $46 level. The shorters just came in and were feeding the stock to create downward momentum and make it look gosh awful, because it traded over 5 million shares in an hour, and that was all selling coming in against bids, just hitting bids. Since it hit 46.52, we've been above that price right now, 49.69 with 7 minutes to go in our trading day, and we're going to see just where the market wants to close out. The Dow is only down 19.8. It was up a little earlier when I started my show here, down 19.8. The S&P down 5 points, NASDAQ up 13. Mixed market at the end of the day after several days of up markets for the Dow. So we'll see what's going on. Let's go. Yeah, Jake, if GameStop is just do the same thing except sell online, I don't see them lasting. They have to drastically change the business model if they want to survive. I think they will. I think that having Ryan Cohen on and his two Chewy people come with him, and now they're stealing Chewy people and Amazon people, I think there's a change happening on the online GameStop philosophy. I think GameStop's online presence is going to be dramatically different than it's ever been before, and I think it's going to mirror the kind of positive vibes that survey after survey shows is happening with Chewy online customers. People that buy product from Chewy are very satisfied online buyers of pet supplies, pet food and toys and everything else. because Chewy has created an environment friendly to pet owners. I think that Cohen and his group are going to do the same thing with GameStop. GameStop will be the must-visit website for all gamers, not just the 55 million gamers that GameStop has in their club. No, I'm talking about the 2.4 billion gamers worldwide that exist. A high percentage, a good percentage of those gamers are going to know that you've got to visit the GameStop site regularly to be in the know and be up to speed as to what's going on. And because it's going to become a gamer's haven, a hangout for gamers. And I think that's the direction they want to take this company. And they're prepared to put money into it. A lot of money. Stock is up over 50 now, $50, 18 cents last trade, trying to make a bit of a stand. We'll see what it can do. Thank you guys for being here. They'll probably move to an esports and all things game store, not just consoles and games, maybe PC parts and accessories. And then they already own Think Geek, so maybe they'll expand that way. Yeah, I think that they have a huge area they can go after, mega millions more customers than they've been servicing. Remember, the 5,000 stores that they have around the world, you know, each store can handle so many customers, but not millions. These brick and mortar stores can handle thousands of customers' requests, but not hundreds of thousands of customers' requests, not millions of customers' requests, where the website and the warehouses strategically placed, one on Canada, at least one in the US, Europe, Australia. These warehouses and distribution centers will be able to handle global requirements for anything that GameStop gets into. And so I expect that the company to become definitely a global player in this space and more. Here we go. Jake, GameStop should turn into an esports bets with purchasable streamer packages. Ninja package has his PC monitor and chair, etc. as a bundle. Don't be surprised if they start signing up major gamers as GameStop spokespeople and a huge marketing campaign with tournament play in various regions of the world. Don't forget India. India, Indonesia, the Philippines, Japan, Thailand, Australia, of course, New Zealand, Egypt, gamers everywhere globally. They will have regional tournaments, national tournaments, a lot of online stuff going on targeted to their market, wherever these guys are, guys and girls. This company's going global, folks. It's getting out of the regional business they're in now, brick and mortar regional. They're going global. The market is 10 times the size, 20 times the size that they have been targeting so far. And this is what's coming. This is what's coming. What can I say? Let's see here. Red Solo Cup. I spent $5 to tell a terrible joke. Wow. We appreciate it. I appreciate it. Keep them coming. I love it. Tiago, hey, Bruce, I'm glad to find your channel. One of those who got in the game for the first time with GameStop Frenzy. Now I'm at an 80% loss, about 1,000. Throw me some incentive to stay in the game. Thank you. Just stick around and watch the show. You've paid your price of admission. It might be a little higher than others, but you're here. And you watch what GameStop is going to be doing as a corporation. Don't be surprised. They keep coming out with press releases from time to time. They're going to release their financials for the end of the year. They're going to release forecasts, what they think they're going to be doing going forward. They're going to have their conference call with whatever analysts are going to cover them, and they're going to make their case for their future of their company. They're going to come out with announcements of hires, all that stuff. We've got a minute to go in the day. We're finalizing the day here. The Dow is up or down 15 points, S&P down 480, and NASDAQ 4.8 points, 5 points. NASDAQ is up 13 roughly at the bell. We're coming into the bell right now, closing the day down, and GameStop will close here at 49, 40 something is kind of where it's going to finish off the day. Not a pretty print. 50.31 last trade right now. A little bump at the end that came in, it looks like, as we are finishing up. The bell is going in New York. There you go. The bell is ringing in New York, and we're just about done. GameStop at 50.48 last trade on the day. A little bump up, which is interesting to see. So that brought it up about $3.50 or so. No, about $4. A $4 gain almost from the low of the day to close at 50.48. So we're going to see now how it performs in the aftermarket and tomorrow. Was that $46 range a bit of a oversold scenario? And will we have a pop from here a little bit? News we're expecting, short interest numbers we're expecting, corporate updates we're expecting on it, and we'll see where we go. As far as other shares go, the Gores Holdings number 6 that I've been recommending and following, 16.69 up 3.21 today. Big day, 20% gain at least. Virgin Acquisition Corp, VG Acquisition, 14.77 down 75 cents. That is buy territory for sure. Like I said, GameStop 50.48, AMC 5.50, Bed Bath & Beyond 27.12, and BlackBerry 13.42. That's where we're at on the aftermarket right now. Instantly, I'm not seeing any movement on most of these stocks. GameStop at $50 right at this second, and we're flat elsewhere. The final count on the Dow, down 10 points, a nothing day. It didn't give back much of anything. It's been holding those gains that's made the last few days, holding it very well. S&P down 4 points, a no-brainer. NASDAQ up 20 points. Again, nothing much of a day there. So mixed on the overall markets is where we're at right now. So now we will find out where we're at regarding short interest. Will these numbers be released soon? Will we hear about them shortly for the end of January, those numbers? And we'll see what's going on. All right. Joe says thumbs ups. Let's get them to 2,000 thumbs ups. We've got 769 thumbs ups for this show, and I thank you. There's 2,000 of you watching me right now. Nice to have you here with me, Stock Markets with Bruce, where we talk about the stock market in plain English, if at all possible. Thank you all for following me and keeping up with what's happening here. I appreciate you, and appreciate your following this YouTuber. Over on GameStop, I'm just looking for announcements. Are there anywhere? At this moment, nothing is falling into place. Nope, there's nothing here. I have no new news on GameStop specifically from any of the news services, so I'm not sure where we're headed there. All right. What do you think about buying TDS for a value play? Seems undervalued. PE about 10. Growth is expected. Screams buy to me. I'm in for 327 shares at $20 cost basis. TDS. What is TDS? That's the question I'm asking. Who are these guys? Let's take a look. TDS is Telephone and Data Systems Incorporated. This is a company that does engages in the provision of wireline and cable broadband, video and voice services. It operates through the following segments: U.S. cellular, telephone and data systems, telecoms, wireline, and cable. The U.S. cellular segment provides service to postpaid and prepaid customers from a variety of demographic segments. This is so yesterday, isn't it? It's a company that is so yesterday. If it's trading at 10 times earnings, it's a company that's a steady performer, but not sexy. And you've got to ask yourself, do you want to be in something like this? High of the year, 25.61, low 14, trading around $20. It varied by 40 cents a share today. It is not an heavy active, volatile player, but the kind of company you might invest in for the longer haul if you like that kind of thing. Although you can go into ETFs that follow the telecom business, and you might have a wider range of these kinds of companies and give you a little more coverage. But to each his own. I can't really give you an opinion on it. I can't be negative on it, but I can't jump up and down and say this is the greatest investment I've ever seen in my life. Steady, certainly conservative Yeah, that I will give you there. Cole's dad, thank you. Sally Beauty call options to print at $20 in June. Good luck with those contracts. I don't know anything about that outfit. Thank you to Ethan for your donation. Hey, Bruce, I've donated $20 and you missed them all. But no worries. Just wondering where will be the best place to find the new FINRA short interest for GameStop as soon as it's released. I've been keeping an eye on Google. I've been waiting. I've been watching here on the Market Watch site. I've been looking for any kind of press release anywhere. Can't find it. Not yet. I would have thought for sure these would have been released already, but I haven't seen anything yet. So I'm going to wait this out. There's not much we can do about it now. I mean, if the announcement comes out now that there's an incredible short position and the aftermarket, it goes up, and then tomorrow morning it goes up, and then it opens up higher by 5 or 10 or $20 a share. That's the way it is. On the other hand, if nothing happens, the shares don't react whatsoever, that's the way it is. The report is the report. When it comes out, it comes out. I'll be watching it from my vantage point, keeping an eye on headlines and hoping to see something sooner rather than later on the shares. But at the moment, I've got nothing to report. There's nothing being broken out here, so I don't know. What do we see here? I'm looking at the headlines right now on Market Watch to see if there's any mention of short positions. Nothing been said here whatsoever. So I have no news to tell you. Unfortunately, I've got nothing on the deal here. Let me see if I can do a quick Google search here on my big ass iPad. Let's see what they're saying. Here we go, and then we'll go. Latest short reports, short positions. Current short positions, short interest, high short interest stocks. I'm not showing anything yet official. Let's see. I've got nothing. I've got announcements that are days old. Nothing current at the moment. So I just have nothing here. I'm waiting. I'm watching. I'm there with you as soon as they want to say it. But at the moment we have nada here, and sorry to say I don't have an update on the short position. I will say while I was babbling on, GameStop is 51.75. It just popped up. It's up 2.5%. So is something breaking somewhere that I can't find through what I'm looking at? Let's hope so, but this might be just a little glitch, a little blur, a little move. We'll see what's going on. 226 was last report. See, people are saying, I don't know about that. Short interest, 226. Let's see. Bruce, let's see here. No, I don't have an official anything. 51.75, 51.50. It's the price of the stock right now. 330,000 shares traded in the aftermarket. Report not until 6 p.m. Eastern, someone's saying. So that would be another 2 hours, just short of 2 hours from now before that happens. So let's see what happens. Again, I'll be there watching it tonight. I'll be on tomorrow morning, an hour before the opening for sure. Following the pre-market on this, and if it is a substantial number, maybe it'll have an effect. But if it's not a substantial number, then might not be going on at all. But 51.65 last trade on after hours, from what I can see now on GameStop on my Yahoo server here over here on Market Watch 51.50. So it's up from the low of the day, 46.50. $5 higher than the low, almost 10% off the low if you take a 10% gain from there to here. But on the day, it was off from yesterday to today, unfortunately, and we have to accept the fact that it did lose money on the day for the print, $9.52, but it's come back a bit, about $1 and a bit. So we'll see. That time will tell. Buy GameStop now, they're saying. What would the figures need to be to look for? Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, we had 140% short position a month ago. Then it went down to 120, 119, 120. Then there's been rumors of all kinds of positions since. We're waiting now for the latest FINRA report. We'll get that later tonight. If it's back to 140 or if it's 160 or if it's a 100 or 80, the market could react positively or negatively depending on just how the market feels about this announcement and this report. We'll just have to wait, guys, and we'll address it when we can address it. That's all I can tell you. I can't do more than that. I believe, though, at this moment in time, all day long today, I'm thinking the shares are a bit oversold. That's my thinking. Anyway, there it is. Anyway, Ben, you're a great guy. Will someone just pay this bumbling idiot $5 to say the report won't be on until 6 o'clock? So we don't have to keep listening to being an old man. Thank you, Ben, for your kind words and your kind observations. What this channel is all about, this bumbling old man. I do admit from time to time I am a bumbling old man, but I try my best to give you what I can give you. But we cannot determine the impact that anything will have when it comes out tonight. The aftermarket will give us a hint maybe, and the pre-market will definitely give us an indication, and we'll go from there. There it is. Ben, you gotta chill. Ben, how can you talk like that about Uncle Bruce? Bruce, don't listen to the haters. We love you. Laugh out loud. Glad you're laughing, Justin Singh. Not Gucci. It was the other Ben. No, chill. Oh, man. I just bought a Tesla. Where does gasoline go in a Tesla? I have no idea. GameStop still has hope. People loving Bumble and Bruce. Not this, Ben. I foresee high donations heading your way, Bruce. Any tips about Maxon, MAXN, and SFSLR? I have no idea who they are and what they do. I got nothing. Bruce is not old. Everyone knows what happened to Uncle Ben. If you watch Saturday Night Live, you know what happened to Uncle Ben. Oh gosh. I heard Alexander says it would come out between 4 and 6. I'm guessing closer to 6. We'll see about that. Hang in there, apes. GME GameStop short interest is 226%. The report is out. Someone is fearlessly predicting that's the number. We shall see. Be nice to Uncle Bruce. They're saying we love you, Uncle Bruce. Ban Ben. Just ban that guy. But you're our Canadian Bruce. James Grant, thanks, Bruce, for the info. Friday at the Bell. Sold NCL for a 73% gain. Will buy in the dip just before we're all vaccinated. Allowed to travel from Scotland. Happy days. There you go. That's a good strategy for the cruise shares. To get out now and buy them back when they're lower, because today, Norwegian down 90 cents. 3+% have dropped today, 24.11. Royal Caribbean down $1.86 to 68.84. Carnival down 56 cents to 21.06. There you have it. Host Clamp, what's up, Bruce? What's up? I want to be a bumbling old man when I grow up, says Swashbuckler. Oh, thank you, Mr. T. Ben, I think it says a lot more about yourself, buddy, that you choose to spend your time watching this fella. Here's £4.99 to keep bumbling Brucey. Thank you. Brian Lilly, Bruce, a lot new of the new game consoles can only buy games on the console itself. Takes GameStop complete out of the equation. I really think they're on borrowed time. Well, I thought there was a deal with Microsoft, maybe. I don't know. We'll see going forward. I'm not sure. I think that Cohen and the gang have plans, but we'll see. Mr. Jet, what is the chance that this report isn't so accurate, so they can pay the $1 million fine rather than losing hundreds of millions of dollars? No, it'll be accurate. They what could be worse than being fined is being suspended from trading. That's the worst, where you can't even buy and sell. You don't want that. Okay, people will start getting fired. You don't want that either. Stock markets, Bruce. Hey, Bruce, what do you think of the LVS? Thinking of a good entry point. Well, what do you think about those guys? LVS. Who is LVS? Let's see. LVS. Let's take a look. Las Vegas Sands Corporation. Let's take a look at 3-month chart here. Been higher, been upwards of $60 a share, right now at $54.40. High for the year, 71, low of 33. That would be during the COVID height. I tell you, Vegas is struggling. Many of the resorts are on, restricted. They're on a restricted schedule these days. I mean, they're not even. A number of them don't even allow guests to book a hotel between Mondays and Thursdays. They're only allowing hotel guests Fridays, Saturdays, maybe Sundays. The rest of the time, they're in some cases the casinos are shut down. Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays they're shut right down. So there's really a lot of restrictions there. The numbers are awful for Vegas. The airport numbers are way down. We all hope for the same thing. The vaccine will be distributed, will be effective. We'll get closer to, much more normal scenarios than not. We're all hoping for, the big comeback. But in Vegas, we're talking towards the end of the year, maybe. So it's going to be a long, ugly summer here. I really worry about it for Las Vegas Sands. They've got divisions and they have other areas, but they're not firing in all cylinders, and they don't look like they're going to be for a while. And that's something that really, keeps me back from wanting to jump on board. Cruise lines, same thing. Atlantic City properties, no good. Nothing happening there. A lot of casinos around the U.S., restrictions or shutdowns. Wearing double masking now, and oh boy, I don't know. I'm not a fan right now to want to get in there. There you have it. Roberto, the world needs more people like you, man. Happiness, GMC, AMC. Thank you. 1,880 of you are hanging around this bumbling old man. Thank you for that. Thank you for 948 thumbs ups. Get me over 1,000, you guys. Come on, 52 of you or more. You gotta find some thumbs ups for me. Let's get us over the 948 mark. There it is, 952 now. Come on, baby. I'm watching that meter right there. Get me over the 971, 29 to go. Come on, you guys. Hit it hard. There it is. 1,000 thumbs ups and climbing. Thank you, everybody, for doing that. I appreciate it. The momentum and the exposure is great. Thank you for those of you who are sharing my videos, my live streams on Reddit, streaming on Twitter, sharing on Facebook. If you're sharing this channel out to more people, we are being discovered. The more people discover this channel, the more people discover the stories of what the stocks we're following. 52.55 on GameStop. It just popped again. Interesting on the aftermarket. 52.96 on the aftermarket of GameStop. Very interesting. Bruce, thumbs ups to the moon. GameStop just jumped to 52.59 on GameStop. Very interesting. Sin David Doyle, I told all my friends about your channel. It was like 2 people, so don't get too excited. Now, if you can get them to tell 2 people each, I'm getting excited, and so on and so on. 52.74. But light volume in the aftermarket I don't care. A light volume and it runs. I'm a happy guy. It's rising in the aftermarket. Absolutely. It's going up. PLB. Any idea how to time the pent up demand on vacation and travel stocks once this COVID-19 thing starts to mellow out right off 2021, or is there a predictor? 2021 does not look good at all, does it? It's late this year with the pandemic and all of the vaccine rollouts that are happening globally. They're going to be a while. You try to inoculate billions of people Hard to do. And the other question that I have is this South African variant and the Brazil variant and others. What's going to happen there? Are there going to be vaccines in place to deal with those variants as they begin to show up in North America? I worry about this. I don't know. I really wonder about that. Another comment just came in. Thank you from It's Lavoyo. What do you think about LHDX? Heard they got an FDA approved for an at-home COVID test. I think that's a growth area. I think another area are instant tests, the kind where you do a swab, you swab some machine, and within 30 seconds you get a result. Or a breathalyzer, if that ever is done. I don't know if that's possible because of the droplets. You're exhaling COVID droplets. You kind of wonder if that's another area of what might happen. I don't know. We'll see what's going on. Elliot Knight, hi there, buddy. Hi, Bruce. Glue stock jumped from 9 to 12.60 today. The deal that says EA valued the company at 12.50 share American money. Will that limit the stock price for the next few months? Yeah, it's not going higher. The 12.60 pounds, that deal's not going to be improved. I don't think there's another buyer coming after this company unless I'm missing something big. But at 12.50 share is the takeout price that both boards of directors have voted favorably for. That much I can try to tell you as clearly as possible. But sometimes it's not easy to say as easily as I'd like to say it. Let's see. Here we go. Nuno Lopez, thank you for your 10-pound donation. Bruce, what do you think would happen if today's information shows a game short more than 100% of the free float? Part two, is this the whole story? $53 on GameStop right now in the aftermarket. It is moving higher. Well, again, if this short position is deemed to be very high, the street might love it. The longs might really like this. And in the aftermarket, 53.24 up again. It would be no big deal for this stock to reach a $10, $20 gain in the aftermarket if the number is really high. Will that translate into the opening tomorrow after the pre-opening tomorrow morning? That I can't guarantee, but there could be a momentum trade here to a degree. The other question is, what momentum are we talking about? Are we talking up to maybe 60, 65 and then it'll peter out? Or are we talking about a trade range, a run-up where a whole bunch of Redditors tonight on Wall Street Bets, all 7 million Reddit followers on Wall Street Bets are talking about a high short number on GameStop that just isn't going away. And tomorrow morning, you've got 1 million people trying to buy 50 million shares to get into GameStop. You know what's going to happen. It would be ridiculous all over again. I could not predict the last time that when it went from 20 to 40, that within 4 days it would be 400. How could I predict that? Impossible. How can I predict another repeat? I can't imagine it. But I couldn't imagine the first one, 54.38 on GameStop. It's moving up again. Folks, I can only tell you what I see and react to what I am watching. But it is kind of exciting to watch how it's running, isn't it? I do like it. 54, 54, 50, 464. Guys, who knows? Share my video, share my channel to everyone you can to tell them to watch Bruce. He's live right now watching GameStop aftermarket, 55.25. Bruce will tell you what he sees, what's going on. The more the merrier. $55. What is happening? $55. It's running. We like the stock. GameStop up $4 in the after hours so far. 55.72, up 5.41 a share. What is going on? Reddit admins did step in to eliminate some of the mod issues, but it's been in process. It's going to report at 6 o'clock. It could be a trap, maybe. 55.83, 55.95. Yeah, Bruce, we like the stock. Can we go to the moon? It's certainly looking better now than at the close. And at the close, it had a little bump, just a little bump at the close. It was as low as 46.52. The stock has gained almost $10 from the low of the day. Okay. The high trade today on the market, on the open market, was $56.61, $57. It opened at $56.61, went to 57. If it breaks 57, that'll be the highest trade all day, including the market when it opened in that range. 55.88, 55.97 is what I'm showing the stock doing right now. Volume, I don't know. I'm going to try to get a refresh on this. Let me do this over here. Where am I? I'm over here, and I'm going to go to GameStop to see if I can get a refresh on the volume after market. I'm still only showing 344,000, so I'm not showing a lot of volume. 54.31, backing up a little bit, but it's had an interesting run here. Looking at announcements for any announcement, not seeing any here on there or there. No press release, no announcement after market at all. 55.64 on GameStop, 55 over here, 55.46, 55.38, 55.58, jumping around. 365,000 volume, very tight volume. Guys, something's going on, but I don't know if it's sustainable. I don't know if it's really going to be a massive hit here, but I will say this. The shares were oversold at $46, and the reason it got driven down there, I think, was short selling pressure came into the stock relentlessly all morning long, and it reached a crescendo at about the 11 o'clock in the Eastern time, morning time, is when it seemed to have topped out with the highest selling. And ever since 11 this morning, the stock began to recover and solidify the other direction. RJ and RJR Rails, just got your mug while I'm watching you. Looks great. Keep up the good work. Fantastic. Glad you guys are getting my mugs. Fabulous. We did create some of these Game Stomp mugs earlier. Here's another one, Game Stomp with Uncle Bruce. Here's another mug right here, a tapered mug, a bigger one. We also made mugs with the stock markets with Bruce logos like that. Thank you for those of you who picked some of these up. I'm glad you're getting them. Redbubble is cranking them out. I keep getting the alerts. We're cranking them out. We're sending them out to people. So I'm glad to hear folks like you are getting them. That's wonderful. All righty. Let's see. Where are we going? Where's the report? We're waiting for the report. We don't know what the number is. We do not know what it is exactly. We're waiting for updates from the company on the short reports that would reflect the end of January. And at the moment, we don't have it. We're waiting. 54.50, a little pullback from that little 56 run, but still pretty good aftermarket performance here. We'll see what's going on. Pat Dees, did you ever work on the trading floor, Bruce, like the one on the film Trading Places? If so, could you share a story that stuck with you? I never worked on the floor. I was a desk trader, so I was in a desk that all the brokers would come up to me with their tickets, either blue to buy, pink to sell, and I would phone the appropriate exchange, whether it was the Toronto people. I would call Toronto for New York trades, Toronto trades. I would call Montreal for Montreal trades. I would call Vancouver for Vancouver trades, the floor traders directly, or I would call the Calgary floor trader for our Calgary trades. And I would get phone calls in from Vancouver, from Montreal, and from Toronto with orders for the Calgary floor. I would call those guys for the Calgary, for the floor. So When I called Toronto, the guy I was talking to was a senior desk trader for the company. He was the guy, and you did not piss this guy off. He did not suffer fools. But I would call up, and he and I got along famously. And he would give me orders from time to time, and he would tell me stuff like, "Hey, listen, man, we got a guy here. We got a broker here in the office in Toronto who has a customer that is stiffing him. He's not paying him for a buy order he put in last week. We're selling this guy out. Here's the order. Do the best you can. Have mercy on the soul, because whatever the deficiency is, the broker has to cover it, because you got to know your client rule. And if we can chase this customer down for the money, great. But otherwise, we just take the money out of his paycheck, the poor broker." So I would get an order to sell 50,000 shares of ABC Oil and Gas on the Alberta Stock Exchange. And I would call my floor trader and I would tell him the story. And there would be mercy on the soul of this guy, because we would do our best to get this guy out at the best possible price within a reasonable amount of time, to spare the broker from being nailed with, multiple $1,000 problem. Sometimes we couldn't help him, sometimes we could. But my floor trader, he knew on the floor of the Alberta Exchange all the other 60 traders out there, all the other houses. And if there was a particular stock that we had to sell out, only he knew how much he had to sell. He wouldn't share that information. It's like playing poker. You keep your hands to yourself. So he knew he had to sell 50,000 shares in the next 2 hours of stock, whatever. Sometimes we would know how much he was into it for. The desk trader would say to me, "This guy is into this. He bought this stuff at $2.50 a share. The market is $2.10 to $2.20, and every penny we lose, this broker is going to get nailed with a huge problem. So see what you can do." So we would be looking at the market, and my floor trader would say to me, "Well, it's $2.10.20, but there's very little for sale at $2.20. There's a lot of support at $2.10, so that's good to see." I also know that there's a floor trader over here who's short 20,000 shares at about $2.60, and he's being greedy right now. So he's a buyer, but it all depends on how the stock performs. And so, we'd watch the pre-market, and just, before the opening, we'd see everyone's orders lining up, and floor traders would yell out their bids and asks that they wanted posted on the board. But my guy would hold this 50,000 share order, and he wouldn't let anyone know he needs to get off stock. He would not let the street know. And then we would see how the market would open. The hope was that the day the stock had to be blown out was a good day overall for the stock market, or maybe oil was up that morning in price. There'd be a better vibe. But, if the stock opened at 215 to 217, my guy would call me up and say, "Well, there's buying at 15 to 17, but at 20, there's very little offered. So we can sit back a little more, see if the 220 offer gets taken out." He'd call me up and say, "Someone just took the 20 out. It's 20 bid, offered at 30, 20, 30. We need to get out at 50 or better to break even. But here's the story. I know there's a short seller pro trader over there. He's still short his 20,000, and it went away from him at 15 to 17 to 20. Now it's gone away from him, and it's offered at 30. We might have some hope here, and we might offer 3,000 at 227 to start, and only offer 3,000. And the market is 220, 227. And if the buyers are anxious, they might jump up to 225, 227, start nibbling at it. And if we sell a little, that pro trader, that short, might start buying as well. Next thing you know, you got a 227 bid to a 230 offer, only 500 offered at 230. That eliminates quickly. And now here we are at 240, 46, 247. We're offering stock to see if we can tease the buyers to come up to us. And if there's a bit of a run on the stock, we might feed out a little more. And now we know the next stop is 250, 252, and we're trying to get our guy out at 250 average. This is how we play the market. We're doing the best we can, but the broker, the floor trader might call me up and say, "Listen, man, there's a 50,000 shares sell order at 255. There's no way we're going up there, and we can't mess with that guy, because if he changes his mind and goes down to 240, he could crush this momentum." So my floor trader will approach the shorter and say, how many are you still short? The guy, I got 17 I need to buy, and the market is 240, 47, last at 47, and he says to him, we'll give you 15,000. We'll give you all 17,000, 245. You want the deal? He says, yeah. We do a cross, yell it out, 15,000 or 17,000 sold at 245, done. And all of a sudden, we're sitting there going, we got rid of 3,000, another 3,000, now 17,000. We're out of 23,000 of the 50,000. We got 27 to go, and we're trying to feed it out without showing our hand any further, hoping that we can, if we can get out between 240 and 250 average, it's only a 10-cent loss to the broker, still going to cost them $5,000 out of his paycheck. But in the morning, it was 210, 220. He was looking at a serious $20,000 loss on a big trade. If we can limit his losses to that, we're gods. And so I would report back to Toronto and say, we got 3,000 off at this price. We got 3,000 off at that price. We're working a deal for another block. Call them back. We just blew 17 out at 245. We're working on the rest. I mean, the desk trader in Toronto will just be going, way to go, guys. You're doing a hell of a job, because it looked awful first thing this morning. You're really salvaging money here. And as the hour goes by, the rest of the morning, we blow the rest out. And we get out at 242 average, and we say that's the best we could do for this guy. He lost 8 cents on 50,000, $4,000 loss. Could have been $20,000 loss. But I tell you, there were times when I was a desk trader and we were selling stock on a loss that, customers didn't pay for, and the loss was 80%. I mean, it was awful. Broker and the customer are in for 50 grand, and we're getting them out for 10 grand because they got hosed into a promoted deal, penny stock promotion that was just a pump and dump deal, and they got blown away. And now you got a stockbroker that owes the house $35,000, $40,000, and they're paying the house $5,000 a month. The first $5 grand they make goes to the house, and after that, whatever you make, you can live on. Or it's a 50-50 split for the first 10 grand. First 10 grand you make as a stockbroker, the house gets 5, you get 5. After that, the house gets the rest of it for the month to pay it back, because if you quit as a broker, the house sues you for the rest. And no firm will take you on, because all the other brokerage firms will know this guy owes this house 30 grand and he stiffed them. Not going to get hired by somebody else unless the firm hires them and gives them a signing bonus that they give to the old broker and pay the broker off. I never saw deals like that. All kinds of stories in the great naked city of the market that took place back in the 70s, the 80s. When I was doing it, things have changed a lot, of course. After all, your after-hours volume on GameStop, 398 plus thousand. I'm showing 564,000 volume now. Geo Designer, you got to realize not all shorts are created equal. The $5 shorts have long gone. New positions were established at 200 to 300. I'm holding my GameStop too. There you go. Right now we're at 54.44, up about 409 from the bell. That was 38 minutes ago. Let's see how we do. We have 1,896 of you following me on the aftermarket as we are running through the trades at 54.40, 53.82, 54.39. That's jumping around. 1984, the rocker. TDC thoughts. AMC, friend sold today. Much love. AMC had a bad day today, didn't it? Closed at 550, 570 in the aftermarket, not even recovering what it lost the other day. GameStop, like I said, 53.85 right now, 54.39, jumping up again. It's jumping all over the place. We shall see what happens. This other one, TDC, I don't know who they are. I don't know what they do. TDC, what do we got there? That's a company called Terra Data Corp at 53.51 in the aftermarket, down a quarter. For the year, 1762 low, high of 59. Stock is at a pretty high level. The company has 109 million outstanding and 106 million public float, 20 million short. So there's some short interest there, but not critical. We shall see. GameStop Corp. Headline says underperforms Tuesday when compared to competitors. Shares of GameStop plunged today. What proved to be all-around poor trading session for the market. Let's see. No news on GameStop here whatsoever on this article. It's just a headline article with no news whatsoever. So we've got nothing there. Waiting for the short report to be released. We haven't got it yet. 53.84 is the stock trade. It's up 349 now on GameStop. 652 plus thousand volume, and we're waiting for any news if the company wants to make some, or if the market wants to make some. Looks like we're approaching 54 again on GameStop on the after market. Back to my commentary over here. 6 o'clock, they say. It's, hey, Bruce hasn't talked this much in a long time. It says new phone. You should have seen me yesterday. I did 4 live shows yesterday. I was talking all day. I couldn't wait for last night. Couldn't wait for last night. I'm still talking today, but I'm slowing down. I'm old. I'm tired. Thank you. I wonder why GameStop doesn't make any announcement. Saggy is wondering. Well, they're going to come up with news when they have news to say. You don't want to make an announcement unless you've got something significant to say. Bruce won't even respond to you unless you give him $5. He never reads those messages where you just post a message. He doesn't do that. I like that he spends a lot of time on questions, says Cameron. It's like those teachers you could ask one related question and now they'll tell you an interesting story for the rest of the class. I had a teacher like that in grade 11, math teacher. He was also a gym teacher, and he was my gym teacher. I love that guy. Yeah, same thing. You'd ask him a question about something, and he'd go off into tangents. And look at the time. Look at the time. It's time to pack it up. And, of course, I flunked math that year. Unbelievable. I ended up in summer school for math. And I love math, but I ended up in summer school for math. And that would be like a 3-week thing to kind of get an upgrade in your grade to pass the year. And I excelled in summer school. I got 90s in summer school. But during the year, from September until May or June, I was dying, man. I was dying. No action. And the teachers always had their favorite smart-ass students, and I was considered a lazy-ass bum in those days. It was a bore to me, and so I would get through at 44% averages in math, and I'd be thrown into summer school, and I'd come out with 95% averages because the teachers had to teach your entire year in 3 weeks. There was no dilly-dallying going on, and their job was to make sure you got it, and I loved it. I loved the intensity, loved the one-on-one, the engagement. Even though the class is filled with 40 kids, I loved it, and I had a field day in there, and I liked it. I kind of wish the whole school year was 3 weeks long for this subject, then this subject, then this subject. I would have had straight A's in high school, but not in the 70s, man. It wasn't done that way. What can I say? Cameron, those are my favorite teachers. I had a history and French teacher just like that, and they would tell you real stories among getting your answer. Anyway, what can I say? Bruce, are you sure you don't have ADHD or DHDDH or AHHDDH or anything like that? Hey, now listen, what's your name? I've got a good, what's your name again? Oh, Max. Max, now let me tell you. Oh, man. William, I picked up another 80 shares of that Virgin group at $14.44, added to my first 20 at 15, gave me enough to sell a call strike, $20 strike at 99 cents a share. Interesting move. Bruce, can you do a mukbang, but a cinnamon roll and scrambled eggs? I don't know what that means. Big hard story and a good one, but the kind of good example of the UN equal market access. Don't know what that means. For 700 and something thousand shares of GameStop trade in the aftermarket now. Back to $50. We're back to $50 after hitting 56. Now we're back to 52. So it's jumping around. That's what it does in the aftermarket. There's a thin bid-ask ratio. Not a lot offered, not a lot available, and it can jump $2 back and forth like nothing. 52, 52, 50, 52. It's jumping around, so I don't know what to make of it. Let's see what happens. Bruce for King. Attention deficit hyperactivity. There you go. Laughing out loud. Bruce doesn't have ADHD. He doesn't even have GME. I don't have any of those stocks. I'm just a commentator. That's right. Oh man, we're back to 50.31 over here. We're up to 52.55 over here, depending on which device I'm looking at. 52.65 over here. 52.65 over here. We're jumping all over the place on GameStop. We'll have to wait and see what's going on. Nicholas, info on the whole New York Stock Exchange as of the 29th. 10,681,672,306 shares shorted in total. And many GME and AMC suspect. Love the show, by the way. Yeah, we don't know the GameStop number. We're waiting for that. Thank you, Michael McCall. Thank you, McCall, for your donation on PayPal. We've had a couple of them come in the last little while, and I've missed them. Thank you, everybody, for doing PayPal donations to me. Very much appreciated. Let me just see here. There's one there from Mikkel, and there's one here from Stephen Ryan. Thank you for that donation. Thank you, Alexander Gostello. Thank you for your donation on PayPal. You guys are the best. Those PayPal donations are the best I can get. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, let me move on to the marketplace. Waiting for what is going to happen. 52.80 on GameStop. What can I say? What can I say? All right, there you are. What was that, Max? When will you start remembering my name, Brucey Boy? I even gave you $5. That's a lot of noodles for this poor student, Max. Yeah, I can't pronounce that last name. Max, how you doing, buddy? Thank you for these donations. Keeping me in noodles too. Bruce, you need to watch the show Billions. You would love it. Let's see. Here we go. Antoinette, the report will prove they didn't cover the shorts. The stock is going to go to the moon. Brooke Hanna, thanks for the laughs and stock education. I got in a car wreck today, so I appreciate your great energy. Oh no, you don't want to do that. Don't get into car wrecks. A 53.50 on the stock, moving up a little bit more again. Well, we'll see. Who's doing the trading after hours, Bruce? So who does the trading after hour? Here we go. There's the comment right there. I don't know exactly which firms do this. One of these days I'll Google it, but I keep getting asked this question, and I just haven't had time to look this information up. This has been around for years. Pre-market trading, after-market trading, lots of it. But sometimes it's active and sometimes it's not active. There you go. Word on the street, geodesigner says, Bruce, you studied horology or watchmaking. Is that true? Yes, I graduated college in 1977 in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, from George Brown College. I took a 3-year watchmaking course, became a licensed watchmaker in Ontario upon completion of my college course after 3 years. And I ended up moving to Calgary that summer, and I already had a job for fixing watches and clocks with a firm that was doing it for wholesale. There were a bunch of people that would go to their jewelry store, and they would take a watch or a clock in for repair. The jewelry store didn't have on-site people. They would send the clock or watches to this wholesale company where I worked. They would then hand me the clocks. I would repair clocks. I worked with another guy who was doing clock repairs, and would do the clock repair. And about a week later, 2 weeks later, the clock would be, we would make sure it was timing properly. It took a while. And then we would give the clocks back to go back to the stores, and the customer would get the clock, take it home, and put it on their mantle or whatever it was. The reality was, though, the customer would pay $40 to get a clock repaired. The jewelry store would pay $20 to the wholesale center to get a clock repaired. The jewelry store, the jewelry guy, the repair center where I worked, would pay me $10 to fix a clock. So I would get paid $10 to fix a clock. They would charge the jewelry store $20. The jewelry store would pay the customer $40. And I'm sitting there going, what's wrong with this picture? I'm the guy fixing it. I'm getting $10 and everyone else is making $30. So I thought, you know what you could do, Bruce? You have all this watchmaking equipment in your apartment where you live with Jennifer. We had a 2-bedroom apartment. The second bedroom had all my watchmaking stuff. Why don't you put an ad in the paper and call yourself the clock doctor and see if people phone you up to fix a clock? Sure enough, I put a classified ad in the paper and I started getting phone calls from people going, do you repair clocks? I go, yeah. What have you got? And they describe what they had. And I would say, oh, a mantle clock would run you $45, except I'll come and pick it up from your house. And I'll bring it home and I'll fix it in my apartment. And then when it's done, I'll deliver it to you and you could pay me then. Well, these people are going, this is wonderful because I don't have to get out of my house to take it to the jewelry store and then pick it up again. You'll come and get it. Oh, beautiful. So I would make an arrangement to go to their home, meet them, and pick up their clock. And I would then repair the clock, bring it back. I'd be paid $45. So instead of getting $10, I'd get $45 to fix the same timepiece. And it didn't take a genius very long to figure out, Bruce, if you could do this, you could get like 1/4 of the amount of work that you're getting now. You'll make just as much money. And sure enough, I was getting more business because these people would get their clock back and it would be in perfect working order because that's how I roll. And they would say, I have a friend of mine that has a clock. My aunt has 2 clocks. My grandfather has a grandfather clock. Do you fix those? Yes, we do and all. So next thing you know, I'm getting phone call after phone call. I am picking up all kinds of clocks on the weekends and bringing them to my home and fixing them after hours with my day job. And I realized after 6 months of working for this first company, I quit. I said, I have to go. And I went on my own because I had more than half the work coming in that I was doing over here. And I was getting 4 times the money. And so, of course, instead of making a paltry $10 an hour, $8 an hour, I'm now making $30 an hour, $35 an hour. I was making much more in money. And so that's what I did in my first year of being a licensed watchmaker, clockmaker, repairing these old timepieces. That's what I did. That's how I rolled way back. What can I say? But those were decades ago. That was 1977. My gosh. I was a young man back then. That was crazy. Ruan, is selling a GameStop call right now a bad idea? Wait a week to see what's going on. Thanks for the option education yesterday. Well, right now it's 51.85. We'll see how they go tomorrow. If the shares tomorrow have a little run, but they stall out at 60.65, you might want to write a $75, $80 call. Good for a couple of weeks, maybe a month. Take some premium money in on your position and see what happens. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Even if you get exercised or, you have to buy the option back at a higher price than you sold it at, your stock obviously went up. So you buy the call back, you buy a new call. You write a new contract with a higher strike price and do it again. Take an income that way and let your stock roll. Old mate, Bruce, say hi to my mom, Julie, in Brisbane, Australia. Julie, I'm not allowed to do this, but for you, because of my buddy, old mate, who said hello to me, Julie in Brisbane, Australia, how you doing? Down under. I hope you're having good weather today down there. It's still got to be summertime for you guys. It's winter here, and it's not fun. But I'm indoors and I'm nice and warm, and thank you for being here today. Watching channel, if GameStop hadn't run up so hard, I never would have found your channel. Cost me $4,000, but I found you. Totally worth it watching every show. Well, thank you very much for that. I hope that you're learning more than $4,000 worth of advice and ideas and everything else. I appreciate you hanging around. Thank you. Corey, my grandfather was a clock repairman. Could dump a pocket watch on the bench and put it together. He is missed. Yeah, Yep, I did watchmaking for 3 years. First year, you go to school, you learn how to repair the large timepieces. The second year, you learn how to start repairing watches, and you get into wind-up watches, automatic watches, the kind of where you wear it, and as you move it, it's self-winding watches. Then you learn in the third year, you start learning chronographs, very complicated timepieces with moon phases and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, you'll also learn how to make parts. That's the thing that they taught us, is how to make watch parts rather than just order them. Because in the real world, watchmakers that I saw that were working full time, they would get a watch in and they would need a new balance wheel. They would just order it. They didn't make one. We had to make those things or make parts of the pieces of those things. But that was we were learning our craft by working with our hands in a very precise way. And that's what we did. 3 years. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I found it a neat progression. But I got to say, the first day of the first year, we had 32 students. By the time the first year was over, there were 18 that survived. The second year, we started with 12. 6 didn't come back at the end of the first year. We started with 12. We finished with 8. And in the third year, 6 of us showed up for that 30. It was an optional year of the third year. 6 showed up and 6 made it. So out of 32, only 6 came out the other end. I was one of them. And yeah, I had the fortitude to make a go of it, make it happen. Musical Latte, thank you for the donation to the channel. Very much appreciated. It was an interesting time. Clockwork stockbroker confirmed. Someone at Stockwits just posted a headline: FINRA fines Morgan Stanley $2 million for short interest reporting and short sale rule violations circa 2015. These are not old. These are stories that have been around a while. This might be an old story. I'm not sure. What else have we got here? Hey Bruce, do you think that other hedge funds will jump in to apply some pressure to force shorts to cover? They would have the advantage of making them weaker financially. Oh yeah. Oh, there's no love lost between some of these hedge funds. If one hedge fund sniffs out that another hedge fund is short a bunch of paper, and they can cause a squeeze, oh, they'll run them. They'll run. Oh yeah, they'll run them. All right, no question. You're still a young man, Bruce. You're a young guy. Show and Sarah, 77. I wasn't even born yet. You sound like Marty McFly. Look at my license. I wasn't even born yet. Yep. Those are the interesting times. I found that being a clock repairman, fixing higher end pieces, I would be given a call by somebody who would track me down. And they would say, please come to our home. We have a grandfather clock. Could you give us an opinion? So I would get the address and I would drive to this house. Next thing you know, I'm in one of the most expensive houses in Calgary at the time. 4-car garage, 6-bedroom mansion with with all the amenities. And then I would meet the Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, and they would take me into the rec room, to one of their rooms. And I would see this grandfather clock that would be 120 years old. And I would be asked, can you repair this? And I would explain the timepiece and what we would have to do. And I would examine it on the spot by looking at the back. And I could tell them, ask them, when's the last time this clock was running? And they said it hadn't ran for 20 years. We haven't heard it run for 20 years. And I could say, well, I can tell you why. The bearings on this clock are shot. I've got to give you new bearings, and we got to do. I've got to do a bunch of polishing of the pivots. But yeah, I can salvage this, but this is going to run $150 to do, and you're going to need to give me 3 to 4 weeks of time to set it up. But they would say to me, by all means, please go ahead, because we can't find anyone who wants to do it. And I would tell them that if this clock is in running order, by the time I get this thing in running order, this clock is worth a lot of money. And they're going, well, it's a family heirloom, and it would mean everything to us if you could fix it. So I would get these kinds of repairs as well, and I would be very respectful of the fact that you're dealing with someone's timepiece that might have been handed down generation to generation. from Europe to Canada and so on. And so I found it interesting work, but I also found it lonely. I found that I was at home in a bedroom fixing clocks, and I had no pals to have lunch with. I had no friends to compare notes with. You were a solitary guy at age 23, 24, and it was kind of not exciting. And so by the time 78 rolled around, 79 rolled around, I was ready for something else because I didn't want to go back to the company I was at. I didn't want to open my own shop because I didn't want to have 60 hours a week of work. And so I thought, well, maybe I can find another line of work that will interest me. And the stock market came a-calling because as a child, as a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, I was interested in the markets. And I began to look into it. And I took the securities course. And wouldn't you know it, I passed the securities course and ended up finding my way in to becoming a stockbroker. And so there you go. That was a lot of work to get into the business, but I did not give up. I just kept at it, and I found my way in. And then I made the best of it when I got there. And there you go. There we have it, 52.12 for GameStop in the aftermarket towards the end of my session here. I still haven't got any new reports on what's going on. We'll see what's going on here. Folks are sending me photos of their GameStop coffee mugs. Fantastic! I'm glad to hear that. There are people who are joining me on my Facebook group page that I have for Traveling with Bruce, and you can post a photo there if you like of your GameStop coffee mugs. Fantastic. We're at 49,699 subscribers now for Stock Markets with Bruce. We're at 1,300 thumbs ups for this show right now. Thank you for that, everybody. Love the fact that you're following me and doing that. As far as GameStop goes, 52.02 is the final trade at this moment's trade on the aftermarket as I get ready to shut down this show for the night. People think there might still be a squeeze. We'll see what happens. I will keep an eye on the short report and hopefully have an idea tomorrow about that and share it with you. We'll watch the pre-opening tomorrow. I'll be on tomorrow morning, 1 hour before the market opens up in the morning. That should be, what is that? I keep forgetting what time I start this show. Is it 7:30 Eastern, 8:30 Eastern? I think it's 8:30 Eastern time I'm on. It's an hour before the market opens is when I go live, and I'll be around for the first 3 hours, 1 hour of the pre-market, 2 hours of the actual market, and we'll see how we do tomorrow on all of these shares that we're following. Thank you for following me and making donations to this channel and through PayPal. You guys are fabulous. Thank you so much. Like I say, we'll see what happens. Aftermarket, we've got Gore's Holdings sitting at 1656. We've got the Virgin Group acquisition at 1480 on the aftermarket. GameStop sitting at $52. We've got AMC at 562, not doing much. We've got Bed Bath & Beyond at 2693, not doing anything. BlackBerry 1333, down a dime, nothing going on. So it's GameStop at 51.53 right now in the aftermarket on 945,000 volumes. So let's see what happens. In the meantime, have a pleasant evening, everybody. Thank you for joining me for my 2 live shows today. I appreciate it very much. Being here and following me. Thank you, Musica Latte, for this donation. It indicates your interest. Is this accurate? This might be the old report. It might not be the new one. We'll see how this goes tomorrow. Thanks for the entertainment. See you tomorrow, Machine Gun. Thank you, everybody. I love Stonks Doctor. I love the Stonks Doctor. Ban Stonk Doctor. GME tomorrow. It's going to be a war. Hopefully we all pick the right side of history. Bruce's goals. Only his mom laughs at these jokes. Mary Stonks Broker. We appreciate Bruce. Thank you, guys. Bye, Bruce, for now. Thank you. Clock Doc is out for the day. That's right. The clock doctor is taking the rest of the day off. Well, I'll be doing research from now on. Thank you, everybody, for visiting me. Stay warm, stay safe, stay healthy. Do what the doctors and health professionals tell you. Wear a mask, social distance. You stay healthy for me. Make a lot of money. And that way you can send me lots of donations. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good evening. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 1 hour before the opening. And let's see what happens after that. Okay, guys. Bye for now.